I missed it. I missed it. This isn't a call. This is a history call.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most infamous and egregiously bad calls ever made by sports officials.
Fumble. Or, in this case, tuck rule.
Number 20, Geoff Hurst's Wembley goal. England won its only World Cup on July 30th, 1966, defeating West Germany 4-2. However, the game is marred by a small degree of controversy.
Yes! No linesman says no.
11 minutes into extra time, Geoff Hurst kicked the ball, which bounced off the underside of the crossbar before getting cleared. The referee called it a goal, but others weren't so sure. To this day, the goal remains contentious and has even been studied by the likes of Oxford University. The results are not good. According to modern analysis, the ball did not fully cross the goal line and therefore should not have counted.
It's a goal. Oh, the Germans go mad at the referee.
Number 19, Super Bowl 40. In this edition of the Super Bowl, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Seattle Seahawks 21-10.
The first half was a mess at the end. The end of this drive was a mess for Seattle's offense.
However, the former celebration was somewhat ruined by intense criticism in the media. Many football experts criticized the general officiating, with many different calls being singled out for question and doubt. A poll conducted by ESPN also found that nearly 62% of respondents believed that bad officiating affected the outcome of the game.
Oh, I didn't see holding. I mean, you have to be able to jam up in there. And, there may have been holding, but it wasn't in that picture.
While the NFL argued that the game was well run, head referee Bill Levy later admitted, "I kicked 2 calls in the fourth quarter and I impacted the game. And as an official, you never want to do that." Number 18, the Phantom Tag. Mention the 1999 ALCS to any Red Sox fan and you'll be met with a huge groan. The Sox were playing the Yankees with the winner advancing to the World Series. It was Game 4, bottom of the 8th, with New York up 3-2. Jose Offerman was on first with 1 out when John Valentin hit a dribbler to second base.
They say he tagged the runner out at first, and they're calling it an inning-ending double play.
Chuck Knobloch tagged the running Offerman and threw the ball to first, turning a double play and ending the inning. But Offerman was left visibly angry, and for good reason. Knobloch did not tag Offerman. In fact, it wasn't even close. Unfortunately, calls could not be argued or overturned at the time, so the Red Sox were simply out of luck. Number 17, the heads-tails fiasco. Even a simple coin toss can be the source of great controversy. Back in 1998, the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. The game went to overtime, prompting a coin toss from referee Phil Luckett. The Steelers' Jerome Bettis said tails while the coin was in the air, yet when the coin came up tails, Luckett gave possession to the Lions.
He said heads, it is a tails.
Oh, I believe he said tails. He did.
Luckett claims that Bettis said heads before changing it to tails. But as per the rules, Luckett went with the first answer, losing the Steelers both the coin toss and ultimately the game. The rules were changed following this messy incident, with the referee needing to audibly confirm the player's choice before the coin is flipped. Number 16, the outfield infield fly. According to MLB.com, an infield fly is defined as any fair fly ball, not including a line drive or a bunt, which can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort when first and second or first, second, and third base are occupied before 2 men are out. The batter who hit the ball is automatically called out.
Fly ball, shallow left. Back is Cosma. He'll take it. He'll call. Oh, it's going to drop! It falls! Miscommunication! And the bases are loaded, and Boggs can't believe it.
The 2012 National League wildcard game between the Cardinals and Braves was in the bottom of the 8th, with the Cardinals up 6-3. The Braves' Andrelton Simmons hit a pop-up to shallow left field, which fell for a hit and loaded the bases. However, the umpires called it an infield fly, meaning Simmons was out and the bases were no longer loaded. The game was delayed while Braves fans threw trash on the field, and the team went to lose 6-3.
Wow. We're going to have a significant delay here. Very disappointing from the Turner Field fans. You can understand their frustration, but never take the steps to throw something on the field like this.
Number 15, 2 seconds from victory. Often considered one of the greatest fights of the 90s, Julio Cesar Chavez fought Meldrick Taylor in what was billed Thunder Meets Lightning. While it was an exceptionally entertaining fight, it was somewhat ruined by its highly controversial and still debated ending. Taylor was up on points going into the final round, meaning he would win the fight if he wasn't knocked out. Well, lo and behold, Taylor was knocked to the ground by Chavez, and despite standing back up, he was defeated by way of TKO after failing to respond to the referee.
I can't believe it!
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go!
This came with just 2 seconds left on the clock. The referee's decision to end the fight is still intensely debated.
This is one of the most unusual calls by a referee in the whole history of the sport.
Number 14, Michael Jordan's potential foul. Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals is considered one of the best basketball games ever played, with the Bulls defeating the Jazz 87-86 and subsequently winning the championship. The game is widely remembered for its final seconds, where Bulls superstar Michael Jordan sank 2 to put the Bulls ahead.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead!
However, some contend that Jordan pushed off Jazz forward Brian Russell before taking the shot, thereby committing an offensive foul. Some argue that Jordan intentionally fouled. Some argued it was momentum, and some argue that while he did push off, it was right not to be called.
Now everybody say I pushed off. Bullshit. The man his energy was going that way. I didn't have to push him that way.
Number 13, HRIs Handball. In 2010, the Republic of Ireland played France in a two-legged playoff game to qualify for the World Cup. The second game went to extra time, and at one point, French captain Thierry Henry could be seen handling the ball to keep it from going out of bounds.
Oh, Henry! Oh, it's in the net! It's a goal!
He passed to William Gallas, who scored the game-winning goal. This goal should not have happened, as a whistle should have blown after Henry touched the ball. However, the infraction was not seen by any of the officials, and the goal was counted as valid. Henry later admitted to touching the ball, but defensively claimed, "I am not the official." Number 12, the Dion Waiters shove. The Oklahoma City Thunder faced off against the San Antonio Spurs in the 2016 Western Conference semifinals. The controversy didn't begin until Game 2, which the Thunder won by just 1 point.
Scramble for the ball, and time runs out!
All hell erupted with 13 seconds left in the game, when the Thunder's Dion Waiters shoved Manu Ginobili. This blatant foul was not called, and the time ran out with the Thunder emerging victorious. Basketball legend Magic Johnson called it the worst missed call in playoff history, and referee Ken Mauer admitted that it should have been called an offensive foul. Unfortunately, this was just one of 5 incorrect non-calls that occurred in the final sequence of the game, ending it on a total disaster of officiating.
I think the ref just panicked, because it's clearly something.
Number 11, the Jeffrey Maier Incident. It's the 1996 American League Championship Series, and the Yankees are playing the Orioles in Game 1. It's the bottom of the 8th with the Yankees trailing 4-3. Derek Jeter hits a deep fly ball, which seems like it will be caught by right fielder Tony Tarasco. However, a kid named Jeffrey Maier reaches over the stands and catches the ball himself, robbing Tarasco of the out.
And what happens here? He contends that a fan reaches up and touches it. But Richie Garcia says no, it's a home run.
This was a blatant example of interference, and Jeter should have been ruled out. Yet umpire Rich Garcia ruled it a home run, tying the game and allowing the Yankees to win in extra innings.
That ball was not in the seats. It's okay to catch it if it's over the wall, but if it's in the playing field, then it's not allowed. You're not allowed to touch it, and you can see that ball is touched right there.
Garcia later watched the playback and admitted that interference had occurred, but by then, it was already way too late. Number 10, Frank Lampard's ghost goal. The 2010 edition of the World Cup saw England playing Germany in the knockout round. Germany was up 2-1 when England's Frank Lampard scored a goal to tie the game.
Lampards! Brilliant! It was in, no! That surely crossed the line!
Oh wait, no, he didn't. You see, the ball had hit the underside of the crossbar and bounced to the ground, crossing the goal line. However, the backspin of the ball caused it to shoot back to goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, who quickly grabbed it and continued play. Unfortunately, neither of the referees saw the ball cross the line, so the goal was not awarded. It's the tie that should have been, because that ball was a mile past the line. Number 9, Roy Jones Jr. somehow loses to Park Si-hun. One of the most celebrated boxers in history, Roy Jones Jr. represented the United States at the 1988 Olympics, fighting South Korea's Park Si-hun. The fight completely belonged to Jones, who landed 86 punches. Park even got a standing 8 count and only hit Jones 32 times. Despite landing nearly triple the punches, Jones lost the fight, with the judges awarding a split decision victory to Park.
Well, there it is! Park Si-hun has stolen the belt!
The ruling was so egregious that Park reportedly apologized to Jones after the fight, and referee Aldo Leone told Jones that he should have won. The decision was controversial. Allegations of corruption were made, and the judges who voted against Jones were suspended.
It hurt the sport of boxing, especially amateur boxing. It hurt it because when you can take a kid, 19 years old, he defeats his rival clearly, and you rob him, it really eliminates the integrity of that sport.
Number 8, Vinnie Testaverde's non-touchdown. In 1998, the NFL did not have a review system in place. Instant replay was in use from the mid-'80s to the early '90s, but it was removed for slowing the pace of play. This changed after the Jets' Vinnie Testaverde scored a touchdown with his helmet. The Jets were playing the Seahawks and were down 31-26 with 20 seconds to go. Testaverde attempted a sneak and ran the ball, but was stopped by the Seahawks defense. However, his helmet had crossed the line and referee Ernie France mistook it for the ball, awarding the Jets a touchdown. The Seahawks lost both the game and a playoff berth, and wouldn't you know it, instant replay was brought back for the 1999 season. Number 7, the no-goal game. For fans of the Buffalo Sabres, the Dallas Stars, their forward Brett Hull, and the entire 1999 Stanley Cup Finals may as well be a bad dream. The Fury dates back to June 19, 1999, with the Sabres playing the Stars in Game 6. The game was fantastic, going to triple overtime and pushing each team to their absolute limits. Hull eventually scored the game-winning goal, giving the Stars their first Stanley Cup.
The Dallas Stars, with 5:09 to go in the third period, for the first time in their franchise history, have won the Stanley Cup.
However, his left skate was in the crease, so many believe that the goal shouldn't have counted. Upon review, it was determined that Hull had complete control of the puck despite his skate entering the crease, and therefore the goal was good. Sabres fans still aren't convinced. Number 6, the Fail Mary. On September 24, 2012, the Packers were visiting the Seahawks and were winning 12-7 with just 1 second left, prompting quarterback Russell Wilson to throw a Hail Mary. Both Golden Tate and MD Jennings caught the ball, resulting in complete pandemonium.
The game's final play is a Wilson loft to the end zone, which is fought for by Tate with Jennings simultaneous. Who has it? Who they give it to? Touchdown!
The refs called both a touchdown and a touchback before ruling a touchdown, giving the Seahawks the win. Furthermore, Tate had shoved another player before making the catch, which should have been called pass interference. Intense criticism was levied at both the touchdown ruling and the missed interference call.
It's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. You're really into the game, and you want to see it done properly.
This came at a time when NFL officials were on strike, resulting in the use of replacements. Following this game, the NFL made a deal with the Referees Association, and the strike ended. Number 5, Cold War on the court. Going into the 1972 Olympics basketball final, Team USA had an undefeated record of 63-0 and had won 7 straight gold medals. But along came the Soviet Union to ruin the fun. With just 3 seconds left in the game, USA was leading 50-49, but that's when complete bedlam broke out. A referee stopped the clock with just 1 second left, supposedly owing to a Soviet timeout. This led to a complex series of events which saw the final 3 seconds of the game being replayed numerous times. Emerging from the mess was the Soviet Union, who won the game 51-50. The debacle was enormously controversial, and Team USA refused to accept their silver medals in protest.
I wasn't surprised, but it was a bit insulting. It wasn't sporting of them. You have to accept things as they are in life. Today you lose, but life goes on.
Number 4, the 5th down game. Speaking of complex game-ending debacles, let's talk about the infamous 5th down. This college football game was played between the Colorado Buffaloes and Missouri Tigers, with Colorado trailing 31-27. Colorado called a timeout with just seconds left in the game. The crew had forgotten to flip the down marker, and when the next play began, it showed 2nd down instead of the proper 3rd. So when quarterback Charles Johnson spiked the ball on 3rd down, it was really 4th down and possession should have gone to Missouri. Instead, Colorado was granted an illegal 5th down, as everyone believed it was 4th down. Johnson ran the ball into the end zone, scoring the winning touchdown that should never have been.
Johnson himself, is he in? Yes!
Oh my goodness!
The ball game.
Look out, they're all over the field!
Number 3, the Hand of God. We return to the World Cup once again, with this infection occurring during the 1986 quarterfinal match between Argentina and England. With the game tied 0-0, the ball was kicked toward England's goalkeeper Peter Shilton and Argentina's Diego Maradona. Both jumped in the air and Maradona bumped the ball with his hand.
The English players screamed for handball. Everyone had seen the infringement, except Tunisian referee Barakoua.
The ball went into the net, and since none of the officials saw him touch the ball, it was ultimately called a goal. It later became known as the Hand of God goal. Maradona later admitted that he indeed touched the ball with his hand.
It was my hand. With this, I don't mean any disrespect to English fans. But this is something that happens.
Number 2, the tuck rule game. The NFL's now defunct tuck rule claimed that any intentional forward movement of the arm starts a forward pass, even if the player loses possession of the ball as he is attempting to tuck it back toward his body. Enter New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, who was tackled by the Raiders' Charles Woodson during a 2001 playoff game.
Lost the football. It's on the ground, covered by the Raiders.
It was initially ruled a fumble, and the Raiders recovered the ball, guaranteeing them the win. But upon further review, officials enacted the tuck rule, which had been introduced just 2 years prior and left many people confused.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was going forward. It is an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 on the 42.
It was then ruled an incomplete pass rather than a fumble, and possession was given back to the Patriots, who went on to win the game in overtime.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The not-so-perfect game. Hundreds of thousands of professional baseball games have been played over the last 150 years. As of the time of writing, only 24 of them have been perfect games. It's an incredibly rare event, and if a pitcher throws one, they immediately enter the annals of baseball history. On June 2nd, 2010, the Tigers' Armando Galarraga was just 1 out away from throwing a perfect game. Galarraga got the last batter out, putting his foot on first base before the runner reached it. However, umpire Jim Joyce incorrectly called him safe, preventing Galarraga's place in the history books.
Galarraga covers! He's out! No! He's safe! He is safe!
Joyce later cried and apologized to Galarraga, and he later told The Athletic that the ruling should be overturned so that Galarraga gets awarded a perfect game.
And there's nobody that feels worse than I do.
Did we miss any outrageous calls? Let us know in the comments.
I feel like I've heard everything I needed to hear today.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.